Listeners of the T.R.O.N Podcast, I have a very special guest today, and I have to kind of catch myself right now that I'm even getting a chance to carve out some of her time today for my show. Dr. Angelin Chang, world-acclaimed pianist, Grammy Award winner, professor, and highly acclaimed musician. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Rashad. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I had to kind of catch myself. When people have Wikipedia pages, it kind of stops me in my tracks a little bit that I get a chance to talk to these people, right? Because it's not supposed to happen for me.
Oh, no. You're awesome. You're terrific.
Thank you. First of all, I got to be honest with you. There's one thing that soothes people and brings people in a great mood. It's music, and good music in particular, and you've mastered it worldwide. Please tell us your story and how you became the acclaimed Grammy Award winner that you are.
Well, it started from humble beginnings, really. And my parents aren't musicians or anything like that. But really, if you really want the beginning, I'll start from the very beginning.
For sure.
Of how I actually got into music. And the very first beginning would be, I would say, when I was around 4 years old. Beginning. And so my parents or the family was invited to a dinner, a formal dinner, and I was being a 4-year-old and just precocious, running around the whole house, not.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are these adults talking about? Forget this. And then so I stumbled upon this room that had this really things I've never seen before. Yeah. One of which was this grand piano. What is that? And so the one of the hosts, I don't know what we would say now, was a composer, musician, teacher, played the piano. Yeah. Sat me down and did a little something, and I was like totally mesmerized by that.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the night, I was such an angel. That's the wishful thinking on my parents' part by naming me Angelin, but. But actually, I wasn't there. Oh, this is what she was looking for, and I was good. And so that's what it started it all. And I was so taken by, whoa, what is this? And I think to this day, I'm still have that spark of curiosity, wanting to know more, and how we can.
Yeah, it played out like a movie almost. Like you see it and you just gravitated towards it, right? And here it is. As a 4-year-old, and you don't know, all you know is what you saw, right? And for people who are from the non-internet era, you're a kid seeing a piano, right?
Yeah.
Like now it's a common thing now. Like you can YouTube things, you can do all that, but for you to be in that room and you just like, I need to know what this is, right? So did it start with lessons from there? Where did it come from the being a curious 4-year-old to where you're at now and still will be?
Yeah. Then lessons, and in school, public school, did music and all that. And there was a time period where I was thinking, I'm not going to be a musician. This is when I was rather young too.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is great. This is fun. I love it. But
Well, the difference is you have music. I was playing sports, and you could take music a lot further than sports. When I peaked at 5'8", my athletic career was sadly
the same. But you can always have that within you. And I think one of the things that happened, I do have to thank my parents. I almost don't tell people usually. Now I can tell people, I guess, because I'm a professional. But I almost quit piano because I thought, well, like I said, I didn't think I was going to become a musician, and like I mentioned, I come from humble beginnings, and I knew it wasn't cheap to have some
oh my
lessons,
gosh,
right. And so but somehow my parents knew that I enjoyed music. They never made me practice. It was just my thing, and I would do it. The most I would do is to get out of dishwashing after dinner. But my dad took me to a piano recital by this concert pianist who was also teaching on the faculty at the local university. Yeah. And so I was like, again, like when I was 4 years old, taken by that. It's like, whoa, this is really cool, a different world. And that was really interesting. That's fascinating. And so my dad said, well, is this the type of music that you like to do? Would you like to maybe even study with this person? It's like, well, I'd love to, but thinking whatever, so
for sure.
Yeah. So he arranged, just an evaluation, and the rest is history. The person took me. I was the first child student that person had in the university. And,
unbelievable.
And I just loved something about classical music was it really engaged my senses,
right.
Because sometimes we have a tendency to think that, oh, you give children easy stuff, they'll, whatever, if it's really easy, then they'll take to it. No, that's not true. As an educator, I know it
Yeah.
can't be too easy, it can't be too hard. It has to be
Yeah.
just on the cusp of being challenging without, and so they can see the light to the end of the tunnel.
Oh, for sure.
That range. So it's like, so they can see it within reach.
Beautiful.
So, I think I had repertoire that was way too easy. I wasn't practicing. I was practicing other things.
Right.
And just being able to understand that even kids can enjoy like hardcore music
Yeah.
that's complicated, especially these days. It's easy to understand
Right.
that, music is even if you listen to any type of pop tune or whatever it might be, there are layers. It's very
Yeah.
complex. It's not just one line, just
No.
one note at a time. Yeah.
Well, what I find fascinating about music is to your point, like, you don't have to give them just Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? Obviously, there's good to have a very beginning structure, but sometimes you can use their age as a deterrent to where they're actually at musically, right?
Exactly.
And so, right. And so, I say this as a father because my oldest daughter plays the violin, right? And, and it's just like you've already surpassed any skill set that I didn't have at all, right? Like, God bless my parents too, because it's not like they didn't try. My mom put me in piano lessons, but I was playing basketball and doing, that wasn't cool for me to do, right? No disrespect to your profession, obviously.
No, things have changed.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought what was interesting about your trajectory is you're a professor, and you talk about teaching people from injuries because people sometimes don't equate injuries with music, even though it's a very repetitious endeavor, and people don't really. Injuries are sports. People see like, oh, I twisted an ankle, woman broke her leg, tore their ACL. But you do this with music too, as well, when it comes to your teaching as well.
Absolutely, and you hit the nail right on there, on the head of it. And it's like a lot of times people will see that in sports because it's more obvious, right? But with a lot of musicians, we're working with fine motor skills a lot of the time, and what they're feeling, it's like it's not like necessarily obvious. Sometimes it is. And I'll tell you, I came from the time period where it was a badge of honor to tape up your fingers because you practice so much to keep it from bleeding and blistering. Seriously, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Swings, I went to some big music schools and they were like, oh, yeah, I had a great day of practice. Oh, I'm hurting all over. It's like, whoa.
This can't be good too long term for your career, though, if you want to actually reach the next. Not
exactly.
at all.
You're right. It cut those careers short. These really super talented peers I had, they're going up the chain of the degrees. They're getting, getting gigs and suddenly cut short. They're going into some totally unrelated field, not because they don't want to, but because they couldn't. So that's where it really sparked this I think inner drive for me to find a solution and to help musicians really achieve optimal performance without that pain, fatigue, and injuries, performance related injuries that do happen, not just because of repetition, but how they're playing. You can play for a very, very long time if you're with proper alignment, you have balance, you have understanding of coordination, like sports too. I mean, why do some people just all of a sudden they're like me? I would probably like play for not even 2 minutes and twist my ankle or something, but it's not just because of lack of fitness or anything like that. It's
posture, position.
That's right. Understanding your body, and mind, body, spirit, the whole thing.
For sure.
If you don't understand the game, you're not going to be able to play. Yeah.
It's funny when you talk about, people blistering fingers. Like, I just think of the movie Whiplash, right? And that's the dark side. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a great movie. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal movie. Obviously, I would like to hope it's fictitious, right? Like, in my mind, right? I'm sure there's some people.
To it than you know.
Right, like this is the part where I'm going to plead ignorance to the musical, culture of that regard, right? But like, I just keep thinking of, Miles Teller, like after that car accident, trying to play the drums, and here he is, and you're just like, oh my gosh! And then you have the great J.K. Simmons, Oscar-winning performance speaks for itself. So I'm like, I guess that could go sideways real quick, Yeah, it's a great movie too. So it's phenomenal. You're the first Grammy-winning American pianist. I want to correct this too. In addition to the first of Asian descent, so very great congratulations to you.
Well, thank you so much.
How did that come about? Like, how did where did like the awards and the nominations and the acclaim start coming from? I know you were in Paris learning as well too. France, excuse me. I don't know if it was Paris directly.
Yeah. So yes, so I am the first American woman classical pianist to win a Grammy, and I was just so astonished actually to
That's
learn about
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say, in many ways, it's all an accident, right? So it's like you do what you love and you get recognized for it. That's over the top, and that's really what happened. So I have to tell you a little bit of the backstory,
Of
how
course.
that happened, right? So it's not just the understanding. It's not about for me. It wasn't about achieving a Grammy. Some people have that goal of, oh, I'm going to win a Grammy. Well, that's great, but it wasn't like that. It was about doing the best one could with making music.
Right.
And that particular work that won, I was stunned, sure I was, but afterwards, after winning and understanding behind the scenes, it's like, oh, they really did listen to it.
Yeah.
That's
As opposed to
so,
just okay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Take it seriously in the Grammys, actually, surprisingly. But
Yeah.
anyway, particular work was actually, and you mentioned Paris, it happened to be a work by this legendary musician and composer named Olivier Messiaen, who was one of the big recognized composers of the 20th past century. He
Okay.
and his wife were actually my teachers, my mentors when I was
Beautiful.
yeah.
That's
And
wonderful.
so looking back, it's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And for me,
Yeah.
it was really about making the best music I could and paying tribute to my mentors, my teachers, the people that we stand
You're
on the
right.
shoulders of. So it
Right.
was fascinating because during the acceptance speech, that's all I could think about. It's like, oh, I'm paying tribute to
Yeah.
somebody who's given so much to me, those who have. And I mentioned that that we all stand on the shoulders of others, especially music educators. And you know what? That got us standing at the Grammys.
Beautiful.
Like, wow, we all felt the same way. But
Right.
for the folks who have helped us along, guess what? So they heard that. So the following year, I'm so proud of this, and still happening to this day. There's an award by the Grammys called the Music Educators Award.
Oh, beautiful.
Music educators. So I'm just so thrilled about that. I really am. So
Yeah,
kind of
that's
full
wonderful.
circle here.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think that, if a parent, particularly if there's no previous success story in something like music, and then they decide their child wants to be a musician, well, you really can't say, well, no, just it's an unknown to the parents. So they're like, can you make a living off that? That's the first thought that goes through any parent's mind. Like, you're going to be, in a loft, writing songs and on a corner, street corner, no disrespect to anybody who does that, by the way. But like, their thoughts come in the head. Are you really going to be able to sustain a lifestyle off of making music? Obviously people do. But when you hear your kids say that, then you don't have that structured lifestyle to say, okay, follow this and this will happen. Your kid really has to go out and learn it along the way on their own, so to speak.
Yeah, we all do. And it's very interesting because my mom did bring that up. Said, well, like you just mentioned,
Yeah.
you might be, what if you're a poor musician, blah, blah, blah. And
For sure.
and she remembers me saying as a kid, but I'll be rich on the inside.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then so she still remembered that till,
Beautiful.
later on to like, even a couple years ago, she was mentioning this. So
It's wonderful.
yeah. And it happens, and that there is truth to, I think, that saying where if you do what you love, you don't really so-called work
Right.
a day in your
For
life.
sure.
But it's yeah, of course it's work. It is. It can be really bad. It gets you through it,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And more importantly, you followed your heart and your passion. You found it out at a young age. So one thing I was really curious about, you were the first artist in residence at the Kennedy Center. What was that like?
Well, that was amazing. And that also combined my interest in not just performance, but also education. So that was basically at the turn of the century. So it was a while ago. But it's also another thing I'm very, very proud of because it's still sustaining to this day since its establishment. And so as a first artist in residence, we found different ways to use the Kennedy Center. But back then, even when I went in the first time, it's like I felt like a very cold place where, if you go in, they're like long hallways, nobody there. And then if somebody asks you, it's like, may I help you? It's more like, what are you doing here type of thing versus,
Right.
and
It's an
so,
interrogation, so to speak.
right.
Yeah.
So to make it more warm and inviting, because there is an issue that is about, oh, well, what about audience development, or what can they do? People are buying high ticket prices, but even then, it's like they're standing around
Mhm.
beforehand, not doing anything.
It's a cold place.
A cold place, that's right. So what we did, because it was a large, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's the hallway is huge. And so what we ended up doing is experimenting to see, can we put another stage somewhere where
Mhm.
it would interact with audiences, and that's what we did. We
Right.
created things called the Millennium Stage.
Beautiful.
And then what happens now to this day is they're free performances every day at 6 p.m. And we
Okay.
found the time that was great so that people could avoid rush hour, and it's right before the ticketed items,
Nice.
so that people would have something before they go to the other whatever they paid for in
For
the
sure.
auditoriums, and it would be a place that people could actually mix, mingle, and also enjoy the arts without that feeling of coldness. So it
Yeah.
really is something that really took off, and I'm really proud about that. But it was filled with different types of educational programs where I would even talk about pieces that I'm playing, because you don't know
Mhm.
what the audience is like. And we had people who were just coming off the street, some people who were coming from work, some
Mhm.
kids, all sorts of peoples from all walks of life. And so I think it really was something that was needed, still needed to this day, in different forms. So anyway, to make a short story long, that's what.
Well, I don't think anything about your story is justified in a short amount of time, because when I went to your page and I was able to look up your accomplishments, they're very lengthy and very detailed. And coming from somebody from a non-musical background, I can appreciate accomplishments and excellence. And when you say that you stand on the shoulders of what people did, I do art, I do martial arts, right? I think the beauty about when somebody does something that has a history and a rich layer to it, somewhere in that lineage, your name is in it. You're at the top of that, obviously, because of your accomplishments. But I can look back and say, "Hey, I did this in martial arts." My name will never be mentioned, but when I see it, I'm attached to it. And there's something inherently in your soul and your spirit that says, I know I'm attached to something bigger than me. Music has been on for centuries, right? And it's going to continue to live long after we're both off this earth. And you're in that chapter of something that is so special. And that has to be something that's just intriguing. It just got to be something that's unique to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that's unique to you that really resonates with you.
Right.
And I think some people chase being listed on whatever it might be, but really I think it does have to come from an authentic place to really mean something
Yes.
to the person. You could have your name listed, but does it really mean something? There are a lot of, I like to say sometimes there are a lot of plenty of miserable rich people.
Yes. Of course.
It's
Of
not just
course.
about fame, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
absolutely, it's great if you have that, but also if we know how to not just manifest it, but actually
Have
apply
a
it.
have a happy medium. Do you
That's right.
this is an out of box question. Do you ever have anybody from a different genre who wants to collaborate with you? Do you ever have like a country music star who may want to have a piano playing, or a hip hop artist, or an R&B artist who said, I need to have something you do in my song? Do you get that?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
And I can think of quite a few different things, and
Yeah.
it's
It's just curious.
fascinating. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
There was once that I actually played. I also played, like your daughter, violin, and
Yeah.
and I started in school. But it's one of my. I had a hard time choosing between the two, but I do play very well, very well. And so,
Beautiful.
somebody needed a violinist for a movie, and
Okay.
so, okay, sure. So I thought, okay, what do I need to practice? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I came in, and then we sort of, made these sounds.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and then like they looped it, and that's okay, great. This is terrific.
Yeah. And
So
it just sort of happens organically after that.
that's right, that's right. So it's like it's in a movie. I think it's one of, if not the first, movie that there's this actor named Fisher Stevens. He directed, and
Okay.
Marissa Tomei, and it's called Just a Kiss. So it's like
Beautiful. Yeah, but like that's what I was just curious about, right? Like I'm like, okay, well, sometimes it's not just about performance because I mean, it's big in movies, it's big in television, it's big all across multiple genres, and I mean, you have a very specialized skill set to be able to actually do what you do. So obviously, if someone needs a piano or a violin composition, they're going to look for the best available. Whether it's country, pop, R&B, hip hop, they're looking for a distinct, specific sound, and what better to get it from a Grammy Award winner, right? So, of course, of course. So, you're a professor as well too at Cleveland State University. Can you just give us a brief overview of that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow, I saw that too. I was pretty. Is that? Do you have a law degree, or is it because just the law of? Jeez, of course you do. Why not even ask, right? Yeah. That's like you can say law is my hobby, right? Oh my goodness. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I always, like I said again, your life story is not encompassed in this interview, but because for the purpose of the show, people clearly don't need me to find where you are at. I mean, I'm just a guy honored enough to speak with you, but for the purpose of this show, where can they find Dr. Angelin Chang? Yeah. And I would encourage everybody to listen to her wonderful performances as well too. I got a chance to watch your speech that you gave on YouTube. I think it was at the I'm going to butcher it, the EG or the ES or something like that I saw from like 2007. Okay. I wasn't too sure what that was, what EG stood for. Like I said, I couldn't usher at that place because I can't play a musical note. So just keeping it honest with yourself. So, but I do, like I said, I think that your story, no matter how many times you tell it, to be able to actually talk to you about it is something that I hope listeners of this show, it can resonate with them because I'm truly honored to be able to carve out time out of your busy schedule. Yeah, I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing your continued success. Of course.